So we're on day 13. Tomorrow's the end. Tomorrow's done. You've learned so much stuff. And if you're still here, that's because you've got it. You've got the DNA. You've got what it takes to work and make this happen for yourself. Whatever your goals are for this, whatever your goals are going to grow to be for this, you have all you need to make that happen. And the thing that you might be missing, it was the thing that I was missing, because I always had all of this down in here, right? I just had to figure out how to get it out, and that drive and the self-motivation and all the things that it takes to make this happen and to put in the work long term and the consistency to get here, I just had to find it. And the way that you find that is through personal development. And this was your vital behavior video. It was day 2, but it's more important than just one video. And I want to touch on that. And until you believe in yourself and until you truly learn to love yourself, you won't be able to get to that point that I talked about where it breaks for you. And you're just in this for helping people, because it takes a lot of belief and a lot of self-love to get to the point where you can act in a way that you don't care what people think about you. And in order to do that, you have to get to a point where you act in your own best interest and are allowed to put yourself and enable yourself to be out of your comfort zone and to push harder and push further. And that takes love. You don't make choices, own best interest choices are hard choices. They're choices that when you take the thing that is going to drive you forward versus taking the thing that's easy or the thing that you want to do. It's getting up and pushing play when you would rather stay in bed. And that takes belief, and it takes loving yourself to commit to that. And so that's what, no matter what else you get out of this training, I want you to get that, because the fact that you're here and the fact that you ended up in Beachbody and you ended up in this opportunity, there was a reason. This didn't happen to you. Life doesn't happen to you. You are in control of everything in your life. You are an active participant, and good, bad, indifferent, everything that's come at you, you created. And that's a pretty hard concept for people to understand. I struggled with it. I struggled with it for months. And my coach, Nina, this is backwards. This says The Secret. My coach sent me this for Christmas. And it's because she knows how to do this. She gets this. And she's got the DNA. And if you're here, if you're still in this video, if you're still on day 13 and you're still chugging forward, it's because you've got the DNA too. What's the DNA? The DNA is that thought in the back of your head that you've always had that said, I'm meant for more. The feeling that you're supposed to, that you're meant to be doing something significant, that you're meant to be doing something bigger. Not everybody feels that. I didn't know that. I thought that was just a normal thing. I thought everybody felt that way, and that's what everybody, worked for, and that just everybody struggled with it. Not everybody feels that way. And if you feel that way, there's a reason, and it's because you are meant for more, and you wouldn't be feeling that urge if you weren't. And the DNA is what it takes. That's something that you can't give somebody. If you have that, you have an advantage. You have that thing that people wish they had. When people look at people and they say, I want what they had, and I want how did they get that? The DNA. That's how they got it. And you have it. So the best way I can explain the DNA is, I have the DNA. And again, I didn't know this was a crazy thing. And it's because I grew up in a house. My dad is the DNA. My dad's the definition of the DNA. And some people have that, and they have that feeling of significance. Oprah talks about that when she was little, she was watching her grandma churn butter out on the porch, and she was probably 4 years old, and she's watching her grandma churn butter, and her grandma said, you need to watch me so you can learn how to do this. And Oprah, in the back of her head, said, no, I don't, because I'm not going to do that. And if you ever had that feeling, I did. I had that. Not everybody does. That was such a crazy concept for me to grasp, but that meant I actually was meant to do something more. I actually was meant to do something significant. And there is nothing more significant than helping other people find their happy. How can you be more significant in somebody's life than that? That's giving someone their life as their life should be, as they deserve for their life to be. And some people have just never seen what happens when you have that DNA. My dad has that DNA. My dad is a high school dropout. He didn't get past 10th grade. He grew up in an abusive household. Every bad thing that could have happened to a little kid did. He is a recovering drug addict. He hasn't done drugs since my mom was pregnant with me, but he's also an alcoholic and has had all the cards stacked against him. But what he's got is that DNA. And he met my mom, and my mom and him got together, and pretty quickly got pregnant with me, and he went after more. And he'd already gone after more. He went to San Francisco, and he lived in his car and went to trade school and was a high school dropout and learned to do everything on his own. And then met my mom, and they moved back to Idaho Falls. And when I was growing up, he was a fireman and started a construction company because he loved construction and loved building things and loved creating things. And so he would work as a fireman 24 hours on and 24 hours off. And those 24 hours he was on, he was a fireman. And those 24 hours he was off, 16, 18, 20 of those hours, he was building things. And he was putting decks on the back of people's houses. And we never saw him unless we went to visit him at the fire station. And that's because he had that, and he knew he was meant to do something significant, and he knew he wanted more, and he knew that he wanted his kids to have the things that he never had. I remember one time, and I was 3 years old, and we lived in the trailer park, and this crazy trailer, and there were 5 of us in there. My brother and I shared a room, and my baby brother Blake, his crib was in the living room, and he lived in the living room, this little tiny single-wide trailer, and I don't know what was going on, or why this happened, but my mom was gone and I was sick and my dad had stayed home with me, which was pretty rare. And I was sick and he flipped the couch over and was shaking the couch and dumped the couch out and was digging around the house for change. And there was a quarter underneath our carpet and he cut a hole in the carpet to get this quarter out to dig out change to go and buy me popsicles. I was 3 years old and I was sick. And this is an incredibly vivid memory. I remember sitting on the floor wrapped up in my baby blanket and him shaking the couch to get change out. And we would go and visit him. There was one time I was probably 7 and it was the middle of the night, probably 1 a.m, middle of the night, and it was blizzard, just snowing outside in January. It was right after Christmas. And my mom loaded us all up into the back of the truck and we went to go see my dad and take him coffee and donuts. And it was the middle of the night in the middle of winter. And him and his foreman, Scott, had snow piles dug up and their trucks pulled up on snow piles with the lights on their truck, framing the roof of a house at 1 a.m. in the middle of January. That's the DNA. We were in the trailer park. My dad was cutting holes in the carpet and shaking the couch to get enough change to buy $1.50 popsicles for his sick little girl. And now they fly in a private jet back and forth across the state because they don't want to drive anymore and he doesn't have to. And the only thing that got him there was that DNA, was that thing that said, I am going to be something significant and I'm going to do something that matters, and deciding that he was going to have it, deciding that that wasn't an option. So you have to decide that wasn't an option. And he manifested everything that he had. And what that means is that he decided what he wanted and he decided it was already his. It didn't matter how long it took him to get there, but it's his. My dad has everything he's ever wanted, and anything that he wants, he can get. Really, right now, his thing that he decided he wanted a couple years ago and made happen is he has a TV outside their cabin on the deck and watches TV outside because he decided he wanted it. We didn't have we didn't have TV, cable, TV, internet, anything when I was growing up. And it's because he decided it was his and decided he was going to have it. So how do you manifest? How do you turn that DNA into your dreams, into your goals? How do you make that all reality? Personal development. You already have it here. You just have to figure out how to get it out here. And that's what I struggled with. And now that it's out here, I can have anything that I want because I know that I can manifest it through the work and the effort and the energy that I'm putting out into the universe, and then I'm following my passions and following that voice, and I'm helping people, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. If you ended up here, if you're still in this video, if you're on day 13, you're still here, it's because you're supposed to be. And it doesn't matter if your ultimate goals are $500 a month, you're still significant. You're helping people find their happy. There's nothing more significant than giving someone happy. Or if your dreams are to be a top coach, you can have that too. You can have anything you want. Personal development is how you get it. So I need you to commit to that. I need you to commit to deciding that it doesn't matter how much work it takes or how long it takes you to get there, that you will believe in yourself and you will have everything that you want. Okay? So, big recommendation. This is actually an assignment to watch in the Carpe Diamond group, to watch The Secret. You can order the DVD off Amazon. I think it's like $10. It's super cheap. There's a book. I like the movie a lot. I watch it all the time. And it's also on Netflix Instant. So watch this, but it's an assignment in Carpe Diamond. So might as well get ahead of your homework. But decide that. You can't have anything until you decide it. And your goals, there it is. We were so close to getting through without a burp. And I'm dressed so sophisticated kind of today. Goals are only dreams and wishes until they're written down. And I didn't believe that either. I was like, yeah, whatever. I know what my goals are. And I sat down today that my assignment in my challenge group was to do a vision board. And I sat down today and I just hadn't done it. I thought I hadn't done it because I didn't, have time. Sat down, made the time today, and realized I didn't actually have goals. I had dreams and wishes because I hadn't turned those dreams into actions. So I want you to take, and we talked a lot about goals. I want you to sit down and write down, piece of paper, 6 of those goals, 6 of those what you want, those end results. And then you're going to come back and you're going to break them down into actions. Okay? Believe. You're here because you're supposed to be. And you're part of Team Carpe Diem because you're a Caesar. You wouldn't be here otherwise, and you would not be at day 13, and you wouldn't be feeling. That feeling is valid. If you've been wondering what that is and that, maybe, everybody feels that way. They don't. Not everybody feels that way. You feel that way for a reason. Trust in that. Believe in that because I trust in you and I believe in you. See you tomorrow.